So that is
Hi.
that is probably like the greatest photograph I have ever seen of anybody waiting to guest.
Oh, that.
Yes, it's the greatest ever. Well,
I'm gonna let you
we
kind
are.
of lead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just gonna let you kind of lead because I don't really know like what to say yet, and I have a lot of anxiety. Like I haven't had coffee in a month and a half because I quit coffee, but I made coffee because I felt like it might improve my like peppiness, so I
Oh,
wouldn't just be kind of like a lump.
that's well, I understand the anxiety, and that's what I was thinking about. But I'm so glad you're even here, and I will absolutely take over. And just so the people in the chat, if you're
Thank you.
wondering, sure. So Celeste and I are here together, and so far there are no big cat fights that I have seen. Um, and so I guess I'll start. Well, let's talk about. Should we talk about how we first like came to know of each other? Well, we came across Joy's video, and then at first we were disagreeing on certain things, but then it kind of turned.
Yeah.
Is that what happened? Like how you first found out about me, or did I find you first? How did that work?
Um, I think you showed up on my featured videos because after I vented about what happened with Katelyn, like initially, like that was the first time I ever actually uploaded a video and like paid attention to what was like featured. Because normally I would just sing or post stuff of my kids, and then it was like I really wanted to see what you had to say because nobody was talking about Katelyn, you know.
Right.
And so that's how.
And so then what we happen, and by the way, you guys, if you haven't figured it out yet, like Celeste and I are totally cool. Like we're friends, I would like to say. We have no issue with each other. There's no rivalry. There's no I've said this in so many other videos, and you've been listening. Celeste has been listening, but she actually was the first person to tell me about an individual involved in Katelyn, not involved in Katelyn's case, but because we have been covering it. You know, there's an individual for some reason who decided to make threats against her and I because we weren't covering it the way they wanted it to be covered. And thanks to her, I would not have known anything about that. And she actually, and I don't even know if she knows about this, the same individual who has been taking my videos regarding the case and reposting them onto like millions of channels. I finally figured out how to file like a copyright claim, and I won, and he got the video was taken down. So
I hope
small
that doesn't
victory.
make him like too mad.
Yeah, I don't understand. Honestly, I think at this point, I don't think that he's anything to be afraid of.
But he, like in a comment he made 3 days ago, like, cause my fans, I guess, I don't know, my viewers, they like sent me on my YouTube messages, that, they said, Rachel, look at this. So I went and looked at it, and he said he has the budget to kill me, or to send a hitman on me, and that he will, or she, I don't know what this person is, I don't know. Because
Yeah.
I think that they're a faker. I don't believe anything that comes out of this person's mouth.
Okay.
And he said like he's gonna like I can get an affidavit for it. I mean he was really elaborate, but I mean
Right.
then at the same time like my logical brain tells me if he were truly planning to kill somebody, like
You
why
don't
would
put it on
he?
social media.
Yeah, but he wants that sort of attention though. Like he has the mentality to me or she I don't know of like the school shooters who like
Yeah.
don't care how they're famous,
Right. Right.
you
Right.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think should we just say who he is at this point? I don't think it's a secret because I think like you and I
Yeah.
have. Yeah. I think at this point, Celeste and I have gotten enough threats and people know about. So it's a guy named Tony Basley who lives in the UK. We know, at least I do. My husband knows. My local police know. The FBI knows. He has been making all kinds of threats and contacting family members. I've even talked to, and I'm sure you have as well, Katelyn's family, saying he's doing the same thing with them, or he's already like making plans. So I've just been saving stuff and sending it over to them, but it's this guy named Tony Basley. He lives in the United Kingdom. He has, you probably even know the, I think it's Dolly Won't Drown or something.
Yeah.
Follow me,
You won't regret it. Uh-oh, you froze. Jamie! Jamie, wake up! Wake up, Jamie! At least it's a... Jamie. Yeah, it looks like you're posing for Instagram.
I'm coming back. Am I here? Can you guys hear me? I literally... Was it a bad one? All right. Celeste, now I need you to come back. Can you see me? I froze and was kicked out. All right, hang on. I got to go find Celeste again. That's so wrong how you now does this. Hold on. Let me find her. Okay. I am so very sorry. It booted me. It booted me. It booted me. Okay. Okay. I'm calling her up. You guys can hear me right now? Yes? Okay. Well, if my... Can you guys hear me? Okay. Okay, good. My husband is sending me messages still this entire time. He said that he tuned in for the cat fight, and now he's leaving. But we haven't even begun to get into the issues, so nobody leave or anything. Oh, I think it was actually something on Celeste's end. So I'm gonna keep trying to call her back. Right, I think we got her now. My husband's funny. I'm sorry. Was that me or was that you?
I think it's my dinky internet because we live out in the boonies. It is horrible.
Don't even worry about it. I was just telling everybody, my husband is like watching this, and he's been sending me messages on Facebook, and he's like, well, I tuned in for the cat fight, and now that I see that that's not going to happen, I'm leaving. And I was like, oh my...
Like, no, I've never fought anybody. Like, even when my little sister, like, growing up, she would, like, throw shoes at me and stuff, and I would just be like, what does that solve? Like, no.
Well, I think, I think it's Tony that we were saying, this Tony Basley guy in the UK, because we're covering Katelyn's case, he somehow is under the illusion that we are like rivals, or we're somehow, I don't even know what that means.
It's projection. Okay, so you know Ian, IAN, he comments a lot on Katelyn's, he does wonderful,
Yeah.
He and I both have noticed that Tony is very competitive, so it's projection. He thinks that everyone else is also competitive. Because I've messaged Tony, like when I first saw his comments about me that were really concerning and dangerous. I sent him because I thought maybe the dude has schizophrenia. Maybe he truly does have this warped perception, or maybe he was fed information that's a lie. So I reached out to him. I was super kind and gentle, and I was open to whatever he had to say. And he ignored it. Showed where he read it, but he ignored it. So he had a chance to go off on me, but or to just talk to me, but he publicly wants to just slander me. So that shows me that it's just all about attention. Like, it's not. There's no truth. It's right. So whatever.
I agree with you. I think it's sick what he's doing. And the family even wants nothing to do with this guy. So for those of you that know. Yeah, I think he's, I don't think he's even capable of doing any of the things he's doing. I think he's just trying to be tough behind his keyboard. But what do you, so what things, let's talk about the case, because you and I have been sort of like, I think the most credible people that have been covering this so far. Are there any things that like we disagree with? I can't think of, I think we're pretty much on the same page with most of it, right? Or anybody in the chat, if you guys want to ask either of us something or clear.
Yeah, I didn't even initially like intend to cover it. It was like I just vented about it because when I was 12, I was in like such a similar situation to Katelyn's, and so for me, it was like coming from a place of like just anger and like empathy, I guess, and like. But then when, Matt's dad reached out to us, that's, I guess, when you could say technically I was covering things. But even then, I was not ready. And there's a lot that I regret with that interview. Like, so.
So there's a lot that you regret with talking to Matt, you mean?
Yeah, because I feel like well, at the same time, I don't regret it because I wanted him to be able to be open as much as he could. And I felt like if I sounded like I was judging him the whole time and didn't like believe what he said or was offended by what he said, then he might shut down. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, there's a lot that he said that I feel like it's either didn't add up or still it wasn't justifiable. Like just the way he never attempted to see his own daughter. The excuses for me were just that. They were excuses. And I can't look past that. I don't think that makes him an evil person. I think I know he loved his daughter. I just feel like Katelyn didn't know if he loved her, and that's really what mattered in the end.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. And I had the same impression when he wrote me saying he wanted to talk. On one hand, I thought, well, gee, where were you? You know, why now? But on the other end, I thought, well, the guy said, you know, you seemed credible. I reached out to you and one other YouTuber, and he told me it was you. So I'd like to share my side of the story. So on one end, I felt like, all right, I'm going to hear you out and be kind. I'm not going to, you know. But then on the other hand, as I was listening to him and he was explaining, you know, justifying certain things, I was fighting back, not saying like, you know, well, that's an excuse. That wasn't good enough. Why now? And, you know, the more I listen, and again, I say this, and I think you and I have the biggest disagreement when it comes to Katelyn's mom, to Tammy.
Okay.
I think that, I mean, and I don't even know if that's, if this is accurate, but from what I've heard or seen, and I think that, personally, in my opinion, though, I think the case has reached, like a standstill. I get a really bad vibe from the people that I've spoken with in the family and the people that are running this case. They're going to try to attempt to pursue charges with Anthony, which I think they've tried already, taking some steps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If something happens, great. But they are going off of allegations. People have had criminal charges before that are, you know, no longer with us, that are deceased. It's hard, but I think there is enough evidence. Will it be like a he said, she said thing? Probably. I also think, and I think this is the one thing that we disagreed on, was regarding her mom, that I feel her mom needs some sort of consequence. Something. I feel like the way, I just feel like in terms of the environment that Katelyn was living in.
Oh, gosh, yes.
That we saw. Yeah, you know, and I don't know in terms of criminal proceedings if that's abuse, if it's neglect, whatever it is.
That could be a form of abuse, I think.
Yeah. I think something realistically, logically, is possible to be prosecuted in terms of her.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we did agree on Tammy the whole time, and then maybe I've been listening to our haters, which I shouldn't have, but.
I don't know what, I don't read his comments anymore, because like I will, like, let's, you know, I know you've had health issues too, and like, so like there was a time I was leaving the ER and I opened up it showed my alerts, and then I have somebody like Tony sitting there like saying, I mean, even though it's a nutcase, the stuff he says cuts really deep. Like, I don't know why it bothers me, but it's like, because there's so much hatred. Yeah. But like, I stopped reading what he said. So if he said something about me and Tammy, or how I feel about Tammy, I don't know. But for Tammy, I do think she needs to come out and speak. I know the last video I made talking about Tammy, or when I was showing what she said in a group, because I noticed you were commenting in that group too. Right. She was like laughing, and I didn't like the vibe that I got, but at the same time, I think we all need to hear her talk. Like, I feel like, because she was a character in Katelyn's life, you know, and we don't have to like her or approve of what she did, but I still feel like it would give some insight. Like, okay, so this is the kind of person Katelyn was interacting with on a daily basis. Like, you know? Yeah.
I talked to her. I talked to her a couple times, and it went from starting out really good, you know, and really, the minute I expressed any sort of opinion in my opinion, it was truthful. You know, I was asking direct questions about, you know, if you had any sort of pill use, why weren't you home more, or why, when Katelyn was taken out of the mental hospital, why didn't she go stay with a friend until the hole was fixed where she was sleeping? She immediately got very defensive and did like a complete 180 on me. And just sort of started throwing out all kinds of names, and, you know, and I think that the final thing she said to me was, this is why, you know, I shouldn't have trusted you, or this is why I haven't been talking, and I'm not going to talk now until I give an interview to like Fox 5 or something like that. And that was it. She was done. So the minute I pressed her on, you know, certain things, which did not paint her in the best light, she got defensive and bailed.
Well, I don't think she must be out of her mind if she thinks that some news anchor is going to ask her anything different. I mean, they're not going to be like, what did y'all eat for breakfast? I mean, they're
Right.
going to ask, like,
Yeah.
her to explain herself. But I think there's a monetary
Sure.
incentive that she has for wanting to avoid us talking to her, even though, like, I sincerely care for Katelyn. So, like, or, I think you do too. So, like, I don't know why she'd rather choose a news anchor. Like, but whatever. I don't really care.
I
It's just,
think it's money. I think it's money. It's money. It's sad to say, but this is a small town family. This is a family that unfortunately will not have any. I'm not being harsh. They will not. And I know you, from things I've seen, you grow up in a certain town where there's not a lot of resources. You don't feel like you're ever going to amount to anything unless something, crazy happens and you can sort of take advantage of that. I hate to say it, but the Katelyn passing gives them now a chance to, like, write a book. When I was talking to Matt was telling me he's writing a book. Why?
yeah.
Maybe he wants to side the story, or maybe he's using this as an opportunity to get money.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I know people will do what they can, but this is just a family that, from what I've spoken to, and I don't know if it was different from you, they're even still, after she's gone, so divided, and they're so, they're in this for them. They're not focused on her or the bigger picture here or the message. They're focused on themselves.
Yeah. I've seen the screenshots of Debbie Parrish. What is she, the aunt?
I believe so. Yeah, I've spoken with her too. Yeah, that was another.
I should know who she is. I'm sorry, but
no, my God,
seen this. Fine. And like her priorities, like her heart is in the wrong. Like, she made a post that was along the lines of, I never got to spend time with Katelyn because she was a mama's girl, but now I get to spend time with AJ and Abby. So that makes it, like, basically, like, how can you even put Katelyn in the same like compare, like, how does that time with AJ and Abby compensate for not being able to spend time with Katelyn? Like, how do you even talk like that? Like, if I had a deceased niece, I could never be like, oh, well, now I get to spend time with her brothers, and I don't know. It's like, just, and then she's always posting, like, oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. You were saying she's always posting.
She was saying she didn't have money, like, to maintain the plot, like, because the grave was sinking, which makes me sick to even say. I don't even like to think of Katelyn like that, but then she's gonna post pictures of splurging on, like, yachts or whatever those kinds of boats are. I don't know, and it's like, just, like, are you kidding? Like,
yeah. I think I agree with everything. I was speaking with her, and I was going to do, like, a conversation like we're having with her. She bailed at the last minute for whatever reason, and I called her a couple of times saying, do you want to reschedule? Never heard back from her, and then the next time, I wrote her, I said, I really want to keep this sort of communication open. She lashed out at me, and said, I'm just done. I don't want to talk anymore. The family on the mother's side, I hate to say it, but if this is Katelyn, God rest, wherever she is right now, of saying, see, this is what I was living with. I didn't have anybody. This family, I mean, other than her siblings, I don't know. I mean, that's why she was thinking about running away with a complete stranger, And these kids are so young. They go on these live chats, and that's the attention they get, no matter what kind it is, inappropriate, whatever it is.
Yeah,
it makes sense how she felt like she just didn't have anybody who would listen to her.
They treated her like a burden. Like, every time she'd say anything, it was like, what?
Right.
Like, I mean, literally, like, anything she said, it was like, oh no, now we have to pay attention to what she's saying. And and Ian said actually that's the grandmother.
Grandmother, right? Thank you. That's Tammy's mother.
Ashley said, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, well, that would explain a lot then. And then Ashley said, I feel like it indicates guilt. Yeah, definitely.
I agree. I think the mother, and I think Tammy has tons of guilt. I don't think she's going to, she needs some sort of consequence. I don't know how, I don't know from where, but these people that are saying that, that this mother had nothing to do with this, that she did all, no, she did not. There's many situations where I think the mom could have done more. I'll give you one example. The fact that there was a hole in the room that Katelyn was sleeping in. Number one. Why have her living there? Why not have her just stay with somebody until that hole is fixed? Why was that not a priority? Number two, when she came out of the mental hospital, she was immediately put back into an unhealthy situation after she told her mother that her stepfather had allegedly abused her. Why did the mother not kick him out sooner, which is something that Katelyn brought up? That's a huge bullet point. I mean, these are things that don't require any money. I'm sure she had a friend Katelyn could have, stayed with for a couple days,
I don't know why the system let her go back to that house. Because, this is the thing, and I'm not defending Tammy, but Tammy did grow up in an environment like that, so she assumed that was all normal. Right. And again, I'm not saying that makes it okay, but, so in her mind, her expectations were, this low. To her, that, her dad supposedly shot himself in her trailer, the whole family confirmed that. So, but I don't know how the system, after evaluating Katelyn and prescribing her Prozac after her suicide attempt, I don't know why they wouldn't be like, okay, well, let's just take a look at the environment at home, because she's only 12, and this isn't her first attempt. Let's take a look at the house. And then supposedly CPS did, and are they mental? How, there's no way, what, did she throw a blanket over the hole? There's no way that she could have concealed that living filth. And so
again, it's a small town. It's towns that don't have much money, so that means that there's no incentive for the cops to actually do anything. They're too focused on they're not getting paid, so why bother? Which is why I ultimately feel, unfortunately, if some charges are able to be prosecuted with Anthony, great, wonderful, should happen. Tammy, if that's not already going on, to my knowledge, it's not, which is horrible, should face some sort of consequence, something. Because honestly, the fact of losing her daughter that way, that she doesn't have even and I've never met her, but the fact that if it wasn't for people like you and I on social media talking about this, pushing cops to, keep doing this or looking into this, or for that matter, even people that saved the live streams of her online, this would just be another, young kid that committed suicide, grew up in a poor environment, and case closed. That's it.
I think it's a money thing, because if you look at my channel way back, the first video I ever think I did was on Kaylee Anthony, and I was 18 years old. And it's because I was so infuriated, because I knew Casey was guilty of something, and I was just so, but her family had they were at least middle class, and so therefore they were able, there was more. Well, you know how media is. They do value more if you have money. That's why people get shot in the ghettos all the time, and they don't do some high profile case about it. And so I think but the thing is the reason that this one stands out to me, and this may sound unfair, and people might say this is my white privilege or something talking, but I feel that I'm recognizing Katelyn's white privilege. That's what they would say. But Katelyn was a unique person. She was unique because she showcased everything going on, all the abuse preceding her suicide. She was super mature and precocious for her age. Yeah. She was already some sort of celebrity spirit person. She was such, and I'm not saying that because she's gone. I'm saying it because she really was. And so her case to me really is unique. It wasn't like she just randomly decided to do that to herself. I mean, there were so many signs and stuff there were so many preventative measures that could have been taken that weren't. A lot of kids, I so many suicides of teens. Sorry for rambling, but they'll suddenly get prescribed Prozac, and then there was this girl who was a teen, and she was a jogger, and in the middle of jogging, she just decided to go hang herself. And I've taken the stuff, and my husband had to console me because but I'm not gonna make this about me. So I understand that, but with Katelyn, there were so many surrounding things where somebody, even on the internet, could have been wait a minute, what is going on? Right. And so I feel that's why the police, I lived in Alabama, and there was a girl named Tabitha, and I also have a video on her where the husband burned his car up and everything after killing her, and moved to another state, changed his identity, and the police were so incompetent, they didn't want to bother and pay the money or take the time to search for him or anything. And I was like, oh, well, he's staying in Colorado. I did the research myself. Here he is. He's commenting on my YouTube video, telling me I don't have the facts. Here he is. Go find him. And I think Polk County was kind of similar. Right. Which is why they had to turn it over to the state to take over, because they're being incompetent.
Yeah. No, I watched some of those videos. I actually was in the public for some of the case. I lived in Orlando, so I actually was in the public viewing for about a week, watching the Casey Anthony. I sat right across from her. I knew she was going to walk away. I just knew it. But you know, that was an example of, look, if there's no money, there's no motive. Unless you're a genuinely good person. In this case with Katelyn, I don't think there's going to be any justice in terms of, you know, the people that deserved it. I don't think her mother is going to be behind bars. She should be. I think the most important thing that people can learn from this case, if there is any justice, is if you have a child, and I know you do, children that are similar in age, or they're not that age yet.
Yeah, that they're 9 and 6. So.
Oh, they're 9 and 6. Okay. You know, my main focus with covering this whole thing is the larger picture in kids that are lonely, that don't have friends. Because when I was younger, I was bullied, made fun of all the time. We didn't have the internet to go on, let alone, you know, to talk to a bunch of strangers. I went out, I rode my bike, and I sat underneath a tree and like rocked back and forth, you know, like a weirdo. And I had like these weird poofy bangs. So there was no escape. Kids have this escape now where they can log into these live things, chat to strangers. If you're a girl, you attract these male predators, which are God knows how old, saying, you know, do this, do that, come out here to see me, you know, travel across the state lines, do this. And these kids are willing to do that because they're getting attention, whether it's legitimate or not. And then if something goes wrong, like in Katelyn's case with these, you know, internet people, and they have a miserable living situation, what do they think? Life's over. It's time to die. Yeah. And that's what's scary, is that they feel that it's just so black and white, that this is as good as it's going to get. And it's going to keep happening because more and more of our lives are going to be broadcast on social media. More and more young kids that are in abusive homes are going to go on these live streams, get attention from guys, or the other way around. And when stuff doesn't work out with that, they're going to log on to a website, and that's it. And that's scary, you know? I don't have kids, but that's scary. And I think, like you said, Katelyn had the presence of mind to, whether she realizes it or not, film a window into that kind of an environment. You know, if it was just her suicide video, it would have been a totally different story. But she actually maintained a series of videos showcasing what was going on in that house, which I probably would guarantee it's going on right now in about 100 houses across the country, the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how do we stop that? Is it our business to stop it, or, you know, what do you think?
I was telling Ian, like, right before I got on here, that I feel like there should be some sort of, I know they say internet police, but I mean, like, in the literal sense. There should actually, because, you know, like when you filed the report, I'm sure on Tony, if it's an online threat or bullying, this is kind of like the whole dialogue, is the police are like, what is it, ma'am? Do you know him? And what state is he in? What country? Oh, and this was on you now, or like me? Right. Okay, we'll document that. Let me know if you have any. And it's like, they don't really take it seriously, because it has to be in the dimensional world that they actually, but there needs to be, you know, now that the internet is so prevalent, and that is so much, like, for many kids, like in Katelyn's case, where that's the only outlet for them, it is their life, and they actually value the opinions of strangers online. There needs to be a set, with the government, police system on the internet, as silly as that may sound, it may sound far-fetched, but there does, where you can actually go to these people, like dialing 911, and show them screenshots, and show them, and they should actually get strikes, not like on YouTube, but I mean actual strikes for every time they do a threat, or like a severe form of bullying, or if they're perverts, and to lose internet privileges. I mean, if you're driving and you keep messing up, you lose your license. There should be the same sort of repercussions, something. And like what you were saying about Tammy, I do agree that there should be some consequence, something, because if somebody abuses their pet, like let's say somebody finds the pet is mangled in the backyard, it hasn't been fed for days, and it's sitting it's tied up, and that person will get in legal trouble. And so, and Katelyn was a conscious, not just she wasn't, I mean, we're all mammals, but she was a human with the ability to reason. In my opinion, I know a lot of people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but that makes it even worse. And I don't know how people didn't, like, how was that overlooked? So yes, I do think that Tammy should have some sort of, even, I mean, there are 17-year-olds who get caught with oxycodone selling pills, and they
Right.
have to sit in jail for years
Right.
for selling pills at 17. I'm not saying that's okay that they sold pills, but I'm saying, like, they had a consequence for doing something like that. So neglect and abandonment that is a form of abuse, oh my gosh, absolutely. There should be,
Yeah.
because otherwise, like you said, parents continue doing this all over the world.
Yeah. No, it's what's about, and Richard is he's saying in the chat, he's saying it's hard to track down individuals on social media. It's even more difficult to notify correct emergency personnel. When I went to the cops right after you told me, and I told everybody, I said if it hadn't been for you, I would have no idea about this guy. And mind you, he has continued to, I don't know if he does this with you, where he'll just like take the videos if I post them, on the case, and he'll flip them or he'll whatever, and he'll write all kinds of mean things about me, and he'll keep it going. But every single thing I documented from the moment you told me. We immediately found his address. We immediately found his phone number. Everything about him. And I went over to our local cops, and the cops were, the first time they were, okay, I literally was like, here is somebody who would like to kill me. Here's where they live. Will you please do something about this? And the first time they were a little bit like, okay, thank you. We'll look at it. Next time I came back, they were texting on their phones. It's not that they didn't take it seriously. It was almost though. And then I called the FBI. I don't care if people think I'm paranoid. I called the FBI. Everybody should be aware of this guy. Tony Basley. There's another guy, Lucas Werner, who everybody should be aware about, who he's another like online predator. I made a video or two about him, but I think what you're saying is right. If there's no immediate consequence, people feel that they're invincible to this sort of stuff online. And I don't think, if you show somebody proof, which is essentially like what you and I had, like written down threats, if you show authorities that and an address and a phone number, and they're like, then why would people not, what would make somebody stop?
I don't know.
So,
I have no,
but
I don't know.
That's a really good point. I think there should be some sort of like immediate consequence so that people just don't do that. Or like if you talk with an underage girl, maybe immediately there's some software that sends that to like a cop. I don't know if this is even possible.
I think that's totally possible. And like what was her name? How am I not remember? The young girl who was also Katelyn's age who hung herself in her bathroom. She streamed for at least an hour prior to doing that, and her own mother. It came out recently that her mother was actually in the chat, like making fun of her, like, "Oh, girl, you're not going to do that." Now, if there was some police system set up, I feel like that sort of thing where there are red flags and it's not just instant could be prevented. Like, okay, and let's trace. If they can trace, they would be able to trace location if they really took the time to implement this into computers and the internet and stuff. And I probably sound so stupid to hackers and stuff right now, but you get what I'm saying.
Yes,
and
I do.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think it will be done like within 10 years because the internet now is another world and it's a real world. People always say like, oh, well, you haven't met them in person yet. You just know them online. And I'm like, actually, I've known people in the flesh for years. Right. And I still feel like I don't know them at all because they barely talk, and they can be serial killers and they can be charming, but people, you meet them online, the trolling and all that, a lot of it is true human nature. A lot of it is our realest, deepest selves. So the internet is very much a real world.
Sure. No, I agree.
I mean, the real world outside is actually a lot of times faker because we're more composed.
Yeah, it's people feel that they're, they can hide behind that. They don't even use their real name, or they use I use my real name with everything. That's my choice, but that's also because I'm a public person. But if you decide to make these threats and you're anonymous and there's no repercussion or consequence, why stop? It's fun. It's trolling. That's essentially what most of the internet is right now. So if there's no consequence, why stop? If there were immediately, a consequence for this kind of behavior, then it would all be done.
That's true, and that was a good point. That was a good point, how you said that a lot of them do it because they're anonymous. And so therefore it takes the pressure off of having to, because I have caught, I'm just going to out him for a second. Like when I first met my husband, he trolled somebody one time online. It wasn't like vicious, but I still felt like it was kind of mean what he was saying. And I was like, you wouldn't be saying that if they could see you. And he hasn't done that since. But like, so there is this sense of like like you're invisible and you can just get away with anything. But if there was a way that this police system were enacted and they could like immediately out somebody, like one more strike and we're going to reveal your whatever,
I think people would think twice. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's what I say too about like even on both of us as YouTubers, when people leave like hateful comments, you know, and then there's like a picture of a squirrel or a picture of an acorn and it's not a real name. I always say before you get hurt by any of these like, you know, comments, just consider the source. That's like my favorite thing to say, because if they're sitting behind a computer, no real person would actually, and what kind of a miserable person does it take to leave something like that to somebody they don't know? They're miserable people. So never allow.
I was just about to say that.
You know? Yeah.
My little sister actually sent me something, just what you said. It was like it was worded as like the ancient secret of the monks or something, but it was talking about how not to be offended. And it was like the main thing was what you just said. Sorry, I'm having a mind blank, but what you just said was
consider the source.
Whatever you just said is exactly what she said.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I was just consider the source, and because I've gotten some, like we were talking about the Joy Sparkle with the other show that I just did with all that fun stuff, and I was talking about some of the slanderous things that people have said about me, and you know, stuff that went on in my life, which I could go after people for slander or libel if I chose to, but I just never chose to do that. Because for me, it was, you know, I know my truth, and I'm not like her where I have, you know, nothing to do in my real life. You and I have very similar offline lives, which is what I explained. We have like, we're both married. We have obligations, you know. Our YouTube career is if we feel motivated, if we're inspired by something, if we want to. That's it, though. We have actual real life obligations.
For me, it's like when I want to vent.
Exactly.
Mostly. Or if I feel cute, because 12 days before I start my monthly, sorry that's too much information, but like 12 days before I start my monthly, I bloat, like actually I'm going through that right now. My chest is red because of anxiety, but I bloat so much that I
do.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Tony's gonna have a field day. He's gonna call us he's gonna say we're the blonde bimbos. He's gonna say that like we both turn red because we're like really Satan or something, and like
Yep, that's the reason. Because we just have this like nemesis blood between us, Celeste. We're just such enemies. I get that exact same thing too. Oh my God,
That's
Tony,
funny.
you're gonna be up so late tonight. You're gonna have so much to report on. He's going to be so excited when he watches this. He's just not going to know what to do with himself. He's going to be like, oh my God.
My horns.
I
my
know.
Horns aren't showing.
That's why I'm wearing this hat.
Hi, Tony.
Hi. Because you know he's going to watch this. And he's going to analyze it. And he's going to say, this is all an act. And we actually hate each other. But sorry, people. No, not true.
He's going to say, Tony.
Or we could pretend.
I know what you're going to say, Tony.
Yeah.
You're going to say that we were bashing Tammy and that we were saying that she needs to be locked up and killed. Because that's what you do. No, he really will. Like, I'm not, like, he will embellish to a point of lying. Yeah. And even though, you know, I said that, you know, I gave the example of kids spending a little bit of jail time because of selling pills, therefore she needs some sort of repercussion. He's going to ignore all that. Uh-huh. He's just going to say that we said that she should be killed and that we are jealous of Tammy. And he's going to say we don't really care about Katelyn, which even saying that feels sick. He's going to say, because it's all projection, Tony, we know that.
Sure. Yeah.
But I do feel bad for you, Tony, because I feel like you want attention. So look, we're talking about you in this video, Tony. This is probably the attention you've been wanting. So now people will Google. If you want to Google Tony's name, it is TonyBazley. Give him a shout. Talk to him. Give him, please, just talk to him.
Yeah. He has an entire channel with my videos off and on, which, you know. By the way, Tony, I'm really sorry about that copyright claim that I won, but you probably shouldn't continue taking my videos as they are. If you actually change them a little bit, I think that's how you avoid copyright claims. So the fact that you actually took my entire live broadcast, put it on your channel, and by the way, Celeste told me about filing a copy claim, and the content was taken down. So I guess that's one win for us. Right, Celeste?
Yeah. I don't even, because people re-upload my videos a lot, and, like, I don't really care, but, like, for him to do it, the reason I cared was because he left like a freaking barrage of comments beneath it that were distracting from the case. Like they have
Right.
it's slander I can ignore. I mean, people can say whatever they want. But
Yeah.
when it is about a case like with Katelyn's, on every
Yeah.
single video, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
And like go to my singing videos and tell me how horrible I sing or whatever, but not on Katelyn related stuff.
You sing good. Let me just say, I was fangirling you in preparation for this. Yes.
Thank you.
In preparation to meet face to face with my arch nemesis, internets, I watched some videos, and I watched a video of you from like way back when, which got like 1,000,000 views. It was when you were pregnant.
Oh Lord.
And yeah, I watched that, and again, this is internet. You guys can believe what you want. I can't have children. Thank you very much. I had a hysterectomy, so I watched Celeste. She had like you didn't really show everything, but it was so sweet. And I don't know how I ended up there, but I was watching that video, and you just look so different because your hair was dark and everything. But then I watched like you have like a talent. You know you have talent, right? Like you can sing. Why don't you do something with that, like, for real? Or am I just like, do you know what I'm trying? I'm not even just blowing smoke, you know. You actually have talent.
Well, thank you. My anxiety, I feel like, prohibits me. But honestly, I think you'd make a great talk show host, by the way, and actress.
Oh,
but
thank you.
Things have been crazy. I mean, I've been here since January in this house. And, like, I don't know how long it's going to last, that things are going to be okay. My husband, certain things he still hasn't followed through with, that he's promised certain people he would follow through with that deal with, like, serious things. Like, and, I mean, we've been in and out of the shelter now for years. Since, I mean, it's just, this right here, I'm lucky to even to be talking to you on this.
I know. I appreciate it. No, but I'm not kidding, guys. If you haven't, and forget like drama, even forget the Katelyn Nicole Davis case, go to Celeste's channel and just like watch her where she's just being silly.
Oh my gosh.
Singing, and I would tell you know how I am because we have disagreed on many things. She is so talented and so adorable, and I'm not even going to Joy Sparkle it by saying, oh, you're so beautiful, and then 5 seconds later, like, put you down. No, you actually have like a very I don't know how to explain it, but it's a very like indie quality about yourself where you obviously can sing, but you have a very, I see you doing like indie music. I don't even know, but just don't give up on that. I don't know if that's something you actually enjoy, but I know you're like a mom.
Thank you.
And I'm not even kissing your ass here. I'm talking to you like a businesswoman, but there's something there. So I don't know if don't let your I have anxiety issues too. You know me, I'm like a huge recluse, but there's something there that you need to yeah. I'm just telling you.
You're so thank you. I'm like speechless.
I'm not a monster after all, people.
I really do I appreciate that.
I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth though. Like you know you have a good voice, right?
I like to sing. I just get such bad anxiety. Like last night I sang as Elsa at the fair.
I saw that, yeah.
But I like most of the time had my back turned, and like it was just a kind of a mess. But the little kids didn't care. It was just like, so for me, I like to write music, and I like to do other girls' makeup and put other girls on stage. I kind of like to be the one putting other people, like an agent, I guess you could say. But,
are you sure you're not aware that you actually have talent?
I mean, I like to sing.
No, but you don't know that you're good. That's what
I think I'm decent. But like if somebody was right now, like if I was outside and somebody said belt out a note, I would be the type to be like no, which that's not.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like the way you're a devoted wife, and like I'm such a devoted mom that like. Yeah. That's my main.
Right.
I think I'd feel guilty. Like
I understand that. Yeah, but there's gonna come a time when your kids are gonna, I don't like we talk about this with other YouTubers where I love talent. That's why I'm such a fan of like old Hollywood, and I like Buster. I like the true showman. Michael Jackson was a friend, which again, think what you like, whatever. So I'm very keen when I see people that actually have talent, and I see what's being passed off as talent nowadays. And it just mystifies me if the person that I'm talking to doesn't realize if they have like that specific talent. And you have, I don't know why, but just, I don't know. I don't want to like say anything, but just don't give up on that. And I'm not saying, because if you were William Hung and it was like a novelty thing, I would tell you, you actually have a really good voice and you never sing with anything. I watched your acapellas of you singing all kinds of things. There's something there. You.
Hey, William Hung was entertaining.
He was entertaining.
I'm gonna Google him. When we're done with this, I'm gonna YouTube him.
You got it. You know what you need to do? You need to Google his interview that he did on, because I'm a big Howard Stern fan. So you have to watch the interview that he gave with Howard, and you're gonna laugh so hard. It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. I like Howard too. A lot of people either love him or they hate him.
No, I love Howard. I love him because he makes me laugh, and it's the same way I feel about. Well, we disagree on Onision. That was a topic that we disagreed on.
Really?
I think we do. Or do we not? I don't know.
I like Onision. He gets on my nerves sometimes. Yeah. But I get on my nerves sometimes.
He has been feeding me all of these lies. I want to know, because Celeste and I I think we just became best friends.
I will call him out if I feel like he's been a turd. Like with the Manchester thing, I called him out.
Oh, yeah. That was shitty. Well, that was shitty. Yeah.
Because he was I feel like he was misunderstood. Like he didn't really even read up on.
No, he's looking for attention, and like I get what he's saying, which is like, why do you all of a sudden care because it's on the TV? But you don't have to say that. You don't have to say, mention babies that were killed. It's okay to have sympathy and empathy for something that's on social media and trending. It just so happens to be, what people are talking about. That doesn't. There's no. And I said this with 9/11. There's no. You can't like quantify terrorist attacks that like one is more important than the other.
No. And you can't get mad at people for like expressing
he's
like
silly.
sadness.
I'm
in the chat.
Yeah, what's going on in the chat? Yeah, no problem.
So just so everybody on YouTube knows, you have to come to YouNow. It's younow.com/real Jamie Leigh Fischer, not Lee Lee, but Lee Leith Fischer with a C, Fischer, and that'll bring you here.
Yeah.
And
sorry,
then you can comment. You can comment in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And Ian said that Tony just wants to get with Tammy because he can't have Katelyn. And I agree. At first, that sounds a little kooky, but when you think about it, a lot of people like Tony have that mentality where it's like, if they couldn't get the daughter, then they're gonna get the closest thing.
Yeah.
Which why else would he defend her so much?
Yeah.
Like
that, I've heard that too. That's creepy. That's super creepy. You and I are covering it because we experienced something similar growing up. We can relate to certain levels. That's completely separate. That's not anything that we want anything to do with. This is something that came to us that we've just had to sort of deal with. But Camille, Tony is this guy who lives in England who threatened to kill Celeste and I for the way that we were covering the case. For whatever reason, he detailed how he was going to get on a plane with a gun and told me that I should have like my gun thing open or whatever. And, Celeste told me about it. And ever since then, I've reported him to the cops, and gave them all the information, called the FBI as well. And he hasn't stopped. He like takes my videos whenever I put a video out about the case and he'll mirror it and put it on one of his channels. And he does the same thing with Celeste. He talks about her and makes up all kinds of lies, and scary guy. He's obsessed with something. But he's scary. And, we reported all of it. And if it wasn't for Celeste, I wouldn't have had any idea about any of it.
I think you would have noticed eventually. Because, I mean, he wants to be seen, so.
My husband, Celeste, my husband is following. He's listening to this at work, so he's been sending me like messages off and on. And so this is from my husband Dylan. He says, "Onision is vegan and thusly a twat." Comments. Well, how do you respond to that?
Too. I don't tell people. Well, see, okay, actually, I guess I'm not because I still eat fish. Okay, so I guess I'm not vegan. But Onision eats dairy because when he got that pizza, he did not ask for. He got it at like a chain place, like Domino's or something, and he just got regular. They don't have vegan cheese there, and he got cheese on it, so he's not actually vegan.
Yeah, he's been super. Guys, don't take anything that guy says seriously. I mean, he has so many wigs and so many characters. I'm wearing a wig right now.
I have wigs too.
Exactly.
This isn't a wig. This isn't a wig.
Your hair?
Not this. Wait, hold on. So my hair ends. Let's see. This is like totally irrelevant, and it's gonna piss people off.
No, this is very important for me.
So my natural hair.
Oh, okay.
Like to that length.
Okay.
Which, whatever. And then I put in 2 clips. See, you can see my natural hair falling. My natural hair is the short hair. So you can see there's my natural.
You've seen my natural hair. I don't have any natural hair. I don't have
I liked it pink.
Well, thank you. I should just probably be bald. I shaved my bangs off, and because they were like just fried beyond belief, they grew back even worse. So I was like, all right, I can't win. So I told the lady who does like the fusions, I would just get the extensions put in. And I guess when it was time to take them out, because they're very expensive, so, I can't afford that all the time. So I would keep them in for way longer, and eventually when I was just sick of them, I would, I guess, like, rip them out myself, and my real hair would come out with it. So I didn't realize it. Yeah.
No, do not ever do that again.
I know, and I've been doing that too, and even when I found out that I wasn't supposed to do that, I still did that. And my hairdresser was like, Jamie, you have, like, you're losing, you can't just rip your own hair out. I was like, well, it doesn't matter, because I could just put, like, an extension in there anyway and hide it up. And then it got to the point where she took all the fusions out, and I don't have hair. It's there, it's so thin, and I just felt really bad. But I thought, you know what, maybe for the summer, let's just not put any in. I'll save some money. Let's just color my hair, like, pink or something. But whenever I film, I like to put on a wig or something because it's just, it's more. But I keep my hair like back in a bun, and so far I've gone like almost a month now without extensions, but it's thin.
Hey, for those of you in the audience getting bored by beauty talk, I'm not sorry. I'm sorry, like, because I don't ever get to talk to people about this. I don't ever get to talk to people. My daughter's a tomboy, and she's too young to care about this stuff anyway. And, like, my girlfriends are all tomboys, actually. So, like, they always laugh at me.
You can talk to me about this anytime. Anytime.
And by the way, I don't... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't do bleach. I was going to say, I do high lift, and that works just as well. And yeah, that's kind of my secret, I guess, to keeping my hair healthy.
You've never bleached your hair once?
Oh, I have, like, when I was a teenager. But, not anymore, because I was like, oh my lord, my hair is like going to melt off. So I don't do that anymore. But what are they saying in the chat? Is Tammy Katelyn's mother? Yes, Tammy is Katelyn's mother. Tony is in touch with Tammy. Oh, I didn't know Tony directly spoke with Tammy. Now it makes sense, Jamie.
Yeah.
They're in cahoots.
Oh, so, wait. Oh, so who, Tammy? Okay. So, Courtney, so did you and Courtney have an issue? Or you guys, what's going on with that? Do you know Courtney?
Oh, me and Courtney? Oh, yeah, no, we're friends.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure. I think what we're finding out here is the minute you actually talk one-on-one to the person that supposedly you're an arch nemesis of, there's probably nothing at all going on there, and it's all just like hype by the internet.
Yeah.
I heard Tony send Sammy money. I've heard about that. I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't.
That's weird. Why would he send her money?
Well, the thing, when I spoke to Tammy, and I spoke with her, before I told her the truth, and she didn't like that, she did tell me that, he was creeping her out as well. I don't know specifically what he was doing, but I told her about, I went to the police, we went to the FBI, and she's like, yeah, that guy is, he's been contacting me nonstop, he really creeps me out, And I encouraged her. I said, well, if he threatens you or anything like that, go to the police. And she's like, I will. So I don't know if that's maybe if she's getting money, that's an incentive for her to, I don't think that woman's intentions are good. I don't think they were good when she had her daughter. I don't trust them now. I don't think,
I don't know.
She deserves so much better, but I just don't think that she had a chance, She had to be really, really strong. Really strong. And even having, I've grown up with chronic depression, even having any kind of, anxiety or it doesn't make you less strong, but it makes your ability to handle your life and the circumstances that you're dealt becomes that much harder. And I just don't think she had a shot.
I don't either. Well, I feel like the Prozac pushed her over the edge because, when I was 12, I was sleeping in lobbies of apartment buildings, and I met this woman named Miss Kathy who works at the sporting goods section of Walmart, Super Walmart, the ones that are open all night. She was like, I see you here all the time. Do you need somewhere to live? And she let me stay with her, and then I started dating her son. And so anyway, I was 12. I had my 13th birthday party at her house. And, if it hadn't, I feel like because of the situation I was in, because I did swallow a bunch of Tylenol at that age, well, I shouldn't say a bunch, but it was it was a cry for help. I didn't want to kill myself, but I wanted to make myself sick so that they'd be like, oh, look, she's suffering. And, so I feel like if I had been on Prozac, that might have pushed me over the edge to actually follow through with the ideation.
Right.
Because Katelyn even would say, she'd be like, I love my eyes. I love my voice. She liked parts of herself. And that's more than, a lot of kids feel for themselves. And she knew that she had siblings who loved her. And so she did have some self-value that, it seemed like. I could be wrong. That could have, I don't know. But, so I just feel like the Prozac was such a big component. I really do.
I think I've been on, I don't care, people know, I've been on something called Venlafaxine now for the last few years. That's for anxiety and depression, but that was from 9/11. They started putting me on something, and then I take Tylenol PM sometimes to sleep every night. My husband's been trying to get me off of that, but and we're both trying to quit smoking this week or the last couple days, so we're doing good with that. But the pill issue is, I'm sure there are things. I think the nail in the coffin was she didn't have anybody to talk to. She didn't have anywhere to go that was, I hate to use a snowflake word, a safe place.
No, that's true.
Death just seemed like that's it. And these kids, and that's the thing that scares me, where that suicide is so romanticized in on the deep web. They show you how to do it. There's people that will, say, this is it. This is your only option. And they'll go ahead and do it. And I don't know if I'm the one to say that, because I don't know. And this is where we got into an issue. I think on some where I said the whole right to die thing, somebody questioned me on, I think even Courtney asked me about that. What did I mean when I said right to die, where I was making a parallel to, how people that have chronic illnesses or, they don't want to live as a vegetable. Either it's, because of a chronic illness or pain or whatever it is. So they take a pill. They found a humane way that they can, commit suicide. Jack Kevorkian was, now a lot of people didn't like him because they felt he was murdering people. But the comparison with right to die that I felt with Katelyn is essentially, yeah, she was 12. But let's remove everybody in her family out of this whole picture. Pretend that, she is in complete control of her life. Whatever she wants to do, she never has to worry about who she's leaving, who she's hurting. If she really wanted to do it and she really was miserable, ultimately, did she not have that right? And I feel she did. If this was a case where we felt that she was motivated or shamed, which it could have been because of bad things that happened by her stepfather, then yeah, that's a horrible thing. But if somebody's in her, I think even if I'm making no sense, is that I think everyone gets to a point in their life, even if you're young. And if you're young, I think parents can sometimes be selfish and say, well, you haven't had a chance to live your life yet. But is it really fair to control if somebody wants to not be here anymore for whatever reason? Isn't it your ultimate right to choose?
I think that at 12, because the brain isn't really fully developed, and oh my gosh, I feel like I've changed so much since 25, which they say the brain fully develops at 25. I feel like a child is too young at 12 years old. They haven't even really, a lot of them haven't even started puberty yet. I feel like to make that sort of decision, I feel like if a child came out and expressed that they wanted that option, that's when their environment should be taken into consideration. Unless the child was diagnosed with like schizophrenia, because the delusions that some of these schizophrenics have are nightmares. I mean, it's hell on earth. But like, I think if you're under 25, I think if you're over 25, definitely, I think that should be an option. But, and I agree. I don't think, I could be totally wrong about the Prozac. Those last minutes where Katelyn was on the stream and you could tell was wanting somebody to sway her to do something else. Like, she was like hoping. I mean, you can hear the cars and like nature around her. The plants are all still alive. Like, there's liveliness around her. There are people in the chat talking to her. They can see what she's doing. And a normal, non-sociopathic person, even if they don't know you, they're gonna gesture for you not to do something. I think there was one comment made in that stream where somebody said, like, no, don't do that, girl, or something. But it wasn't, she did it for so long, and she did so much talking that I feel like that was her attempt at seeing if somebody would even be there. It was almost like a test. Like, this is the ultimate test to see if anybody truly gives a darn. Like, and so that's what I feel like.
Yeah. Courtney, I wanted to just answer Courtney really quick. So just to address something she said. She says that these kids, Courtney, this is moving too fast. Courtney said these kids have no coping skills. She was not in complete control, or she wouldn't have left her environment without death. So essentially, what she is saying is, Courtney. Katelyn had no hope. Katelyn was in residential treatment for a month year before. These kids have no coping skills. Katelyn did not know how to survive. See, I don't agree with that necessarily, Courtney. I think she knew how to survive. I think she had coping skills. She just needed help for that. And people around her were not being proactive enough, or she just was feeling, what's the point at this, she's saying that she wouldn't have left her environment. I don't know if Chuck killed himself in her infancy. She really did understand full consciousness. She would have understood the consequences if she was given an option. She really did, or she really didn't, Richard? Ayana says, can't agree with you. She would have had a shot in a different environment. Katelyn wasn't the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Katelyn was the problem, guys, about the shot in another environment. Sure. That's what I was speaking about. What I was trying to say, though, is if somebody is miserable, like, say, for example, if Katelyn had some sort of, like, a terminal illness and she was in pain and she was just done, and her parents wanted to keep her alive for whatever reason, and it was the same family that she has now, and she was just like, no, I am done. I don't want to live in pain. Let me go. Then does that change things, It might be different, but she overdosed. Okay.
Yeah, and see, she overdosed at school. That's another display of how that area is incompetent in terms of
I agree
their approach to mental health, or their lack of approach.
Right.
Because in my children's, even out here in this podunk area, their school, if there was any indication, let alone an overdose, they would be on top of what's going on here even more than they have been in the past when there are marital things going on. Like, it would be, and that would be good. It would be deserved. And like,
right.
How did she overdose and then not keep like weekly tabs? That's what I don't understand. Because see, I'm familiar with the system as it pertains to the well-being of children. Because when my husband was he was drinking, it wasn't the best environment. And sorry, I don't have a fidget spinner. This is something else for.
I have a fidget spinner. I'd give you mine. No, and if it's too much for you, you don't have to talk about this stuff. We can get off of it.
Okay. Well,
you
basically,
let me know.
Okay. In a nutshell, like CPS, and I was the one that I would call them and be like, I want y'all to come every week. I want y'all to, because I feel like it gives him more accountability if he knows y'all are checking. Like, if y'all are always coming into our house and there's some sort of, like, you know, he has to be more composed and be on better behavior. And, like, so, but this was because he was drinking. There wasn't even, he's always had great work ethic. The house has always been clean. Like, there's been no actual abuse. So it's like, but even in that situation, they were on top of it. So the fact that Katelyn was overdosing at school, overdosing at all, and CPS wasn't already very much invested in their lives. I don't mean like they called and they had an investigation open. I mean, they were making weekly visits at their house at minimum. Is beyond me. Like, what does it take? Yellow caution tape around the house? That's what it seems like it takes for a lot of the southern states to you know, take mental health seriously.
Yeah. I agree. Everything you said, I agree, which is why I don't think that, you know, the results in this case are going to be what anybody wants or hopes for. And it's not because there isn't, you know, a need for it. It's because people are lazy. People are lazy in that town. And honestly, if you're in that town and there's no motivation for these cops, they're not getting paid anything. The town is poor, you know. So is it going to be enough? And you and I both, actually, to kind of round this up, you and I both made videos dealing with, like, well, you know, is any kind of a justice in this case ever going to happen, or what would be enough? You know,
no,
yeah,
Katelyn's gone. Katelyn's gone. So I mean, I feel like I'm almost in this. I made this is going to make Tony want to just cut my head off, but I almost feel like Tammy in a way, because she sees her children as like a burden, or that's the impression I get. I almost feel like in a sense it's like easier for her or something. And now she's interesting. I don't know, because she was laughing in that chat. We're talking about her deceased daughter and she's laughing. And I don't care if it was sarcastic laughter. Who does that? Like, if you're talking about your sarcastic, I mean, if you're talking about your own dead child, how can you be like, and ha 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 ha, y'all don't even know the truth. Ha 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 ha. Like, how can you even have that disposition? Like, I mean,
I think she's sick. I think she's sick. I think she's incapable of being a mother. I think she's incapable of being a grown-up. I think she's incapable of being a mature individual, which is why she will never actually have any remorse. I've never met her, but I don't care. You know, the situation, the times that I spoke with her, you do not respond to somebody, let alone a stranger, who's trying to discuss your daughter, who, by the way, if it wasn't for people like you and I, other people on social media, nobody would care. And this is the thing that I tried to tell her, where I said, you know, quite frankly, you should be grateful that there are people on social media, such as myself, that your ex-husband came to, because if it wasn't for us, and if it wasn't for the internet actually having the ability and people who have the free time to talk about these cases, to look into them, to do the jobs that the police should be doing, nobody would care. And you would get away with everything, even though you know you did wrong. And I'm not going to sit here and say, and allow you to say you don't have any remorse, you don't think you did anything wrong, had any part to play in that whole thing. She's going to pick her life back up. She's going to get another man. She's going to get whatever she wants to do. You know, she still has 2 young ones, and we can only help for their case. That, and I gotta say, even for them, the family as a whole, there's no character there. There's no virtue. Even the people that have reached out to me that are like, I'm a distant of a distant, the same thing. Playing the blame game, pointing fingers, saying this is that. I should, and I kept saying to all, because eventually I got fed up, and I was like, where were you then? Where were you when she was alive? I don't care about now that she's gone. Because they would say on multiple times we knew that she wasn't in a safe environment. Well, then why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you make a phone call? Why didn't you show up? You know? Was there somebody who was holding you chained in a basement that prevented you from offering a hand, from showing up? All these people in this family have, the only thing that I have heard is excuses. Excuses. Yeah. And it's the same thing that she dealt with when she was alive. And, you know, to try to get a positive thing, kids, if you're watching this, you know, or if you followed Katelyn's story, and you feel that there is something going on and nobody can understand you or nobody can hear you, or you're depressed or your family doesn't understand. I had that growing up, and we didn't, and I don't know, Celeste I think is younger than me by a couple of years, but we didn't have the internet to just go onto and talk to strangers. We had nobody, and I got through it somehow. So what I'm saying is if you feel like you are stuck in a situation, and I have depression, I still deal with it, and you feel like this is as good as it's going to get, and you're, 10, 12? Please just hang on. Do not give up. Do not accept that this is as good as it's going to get. There are amazing things in store for you. And
hey, Jamie,
yeah. Go.
One second. I'm going to go to the bathroom real fast. I'm sorry.
For it. No, go for it. I'm surprised I haven't had to go. I'm probably going to wrap this up when she gets back, guys. I haven't peed in like 5 hours. This is some sort of a record for me. But I hope this has been somewhat okay. Courtney, the thing is that, you don't look at that family as an example of how not to be, how not to handle situations like this. Hey, Captain Dandy Pants, until you have something positive to contribute, I'm just going to ignore everything you say. So well done. Thanks, Twit Rob DeSato. Thanks, Ashley. I have been sitting here for 5 hours. I haven't peed. I don't want to push Celeste too much because I know she has anxiety issues, but I have a feeling we'll do this again. Hello. It's 6:14 on my end. Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask to myself or Celeste for when she gets back? Or ask Celeste since you've seen me for longer? Who do you like better, Celeste or Jamie? Vote now. I'm just kidding. Who's winning? No, that's not even what we're talking about. Let me know, though, if you guys have any questions or... Oh, Vexlor, you're here. Yay. Richard, both phone and social media. I'll wait for her to get her. Oh, can you hear me now? Oh, she's got her earphones on. Okay. So I was just saying that I've been here for like the last 6 hours, and I'm amazed I haven't had to pee once.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's actually kind of scary. Are you even human?
I don't know. I've been told I'm a puppet or a Muppet or a wax figure or something, so there may be some truth to those rumors after all. No, but I was asking everybody to, if they want to ask us any, like, last-minute questions, and then maybe if you want to, like, do this again or whatever's going on, because I want to give you some time. And let's see. I want to ask you, Celeste, when you are interviewing a family member.
Let's see. And by she, I mean Tammy's sister.
Mm-hmm.
I'm signing into my Facebook. Hold on.
Yeah, take your time.
She last messaged me. Sorry, I'm feeling like really panicky. I'm gonna stay on because I feel like it's actually distracting from my. No. Full of ice.
No. Oh my God, no! I'm actually in the midst of wrapping this up because I have anxiety too, and I sense it through the screen. And I'm not gonna have you have a panic attack with our first live chat. So we're gonna wrap this up in probably like 2 minutes, and I'm gonna let you just feel better and not get all panicky.
You can't see it, but it's like a.
Oh my God, you poor thing! Look at her.
No, it's just a mint, like the
the cola.
Yeah, and it helps calm me. It's like.
No, honestly, Celeste, I have anxiety too, but we're gonna wrap it up. If that's cool, would you be cool if we wrapped it up?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then if we want to like schedule another one, now that I know that this goes straight to my YouTube channel, I'm super happy because that's the only thing that I was worried about. So, Celeste, and anybody else have any final questions for Celeste or myself? And then we're gonna let Celeste go because she's a mommy and a wife, and I'm a wife, and we have life to head to. But here we are. You have the two of us. So ask your questions now or hold your peace. Thank you for chatting. I bet it's going to be the kind of thing where like people are going to watch this and then they're going to ask questions, or they're going to leave them like, is Onision my baby? No. What? What does that even mean? I can't have kids.
I don't know.
I can't have kids.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Funny question. Okay, so Daphne said, by the way, it was July 8th that she was saying that we were trying to figure out how to do the Google Live because she was wanting to do it with me, but I couldn't figure it out, and then I that's just it.
Yeah, so. Celeste and I were trying to figure that out too, and I'm still gonna have to take some time to figure that out. But any updates?
I just saw the comment. That's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Luke. Someone asked about Luke. Hold on.
Yeah.
It feels better when I'm just.
I am. You know how old I have to be? No, the person that asked if Onision was my baby. How old do you think I would have to be for Onision to be my kid? I just had a birthday. I turned 36, so.
Oh yeah! Happy birthday, belated.
Thank you. I got your message. It was very sweet. Thank you.
So
I thought I was 35.
I'm 29, but I will be 30 in November.
Are you scared? I was scared.
Oh my gosh! Well, yeah, actually, I am. I am, because it feels like time's just. I feel like I've had no accomplishments at all, other than being a mom. But anybody can pop out a baby, so I just feel like
nobody. Not everybody can pop out a baby.
Well, I'm saying the act itself isn't really anything skillful. Like, it's not like...
I watched your labor, and I swear to God, you looked like you... I have never seen somebody, like, more relaxed and just, like...
Because it didn't hurt!
I don't even know how you did that, though. I watched that. I did.
Like,
and I looked like... You looked all gorgeous. You didn't... It was, like... And I was like, really? Like, I didn't really want kids that bad, but... Now I can't, so it's sort of...
I think you'd be a good mom, because, like, you have nurturing, like...
I think so.
You know when some people say, like, I really hope you're doing well, and you just kind of don't believe it, but some people, they say, I really hope you're doing well, and you can tell they mean it. Like, that's how I feel like when you say it, and, like, I don't know if it's, like, you've got, like, the big boob, like, this is going to sound so weird, okay? But women with big boobs, to me, women who are taller than me, who have big boobs, I always like want them to it's like mama, like I don't know, like it's like that probably sounds so weird, but like I get this very maternal vibe from them. Yeah. My window's wide open, by the way, so everybody has to hear me.
No, but who cares?
Yeah, so that's totally irrelevant. People might get mad that like I'm talking about irrelevant things, on this.
That's not irrelevant. Well, if my husband is still listening, he'll like to hear that. No, I can't have it because I had a hysterectomy, but we were thinking about adopting a nice black boy and naming him OJ, or maybe adopting, like Madonna, or, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be like a celebrity does, but maybe I'll go to like one of those countries and, adopt a baby or swipe a baby for an iPod like Bruno did. That's a joke, everybody. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
About Luke. Someone, Nicole, Nickel, and they have an actual channel because I clicked on it. And I wrote back, but they haven't said anything. So 2 weeks ago, they said, I'm writing in response about Luke Callahan. Because I made that video talking about that Tarek guy and then Luke. And he said, or she, my daughter was a friend of his in Massachusetts. She's just a day or two discovered his involvement in the case. He, one day, in passing, said his friend died and sent my daughter the video of Katelyn's death. My daughter was confused why he would share that sad video. Later, a week or so ago, he was visiting my daughter at my home. It's probably the third time I've ever even met him, but this time he was wearing a cowboy hat and boots. He was respectful, social, and friendly. I hardly recognized him from the last I'd seen him, dressed more city, casual dressed, and laid-back street attitude. Not that it means anything, but I wonder if he has a disassociation personality. It seems to my daughter that her circle of local mutual friends know nothing about his connection to the case. My daughter was horrified to learn of this, and myself and mother are all very interested in the case and believe many people failed her.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I wanted to know more. I was like, thank you so much for the information. Do you have any way I could get in touch with his family members? You know, since they obviously know him, but they haven't. They're not really active on YouTube that much. So,
well, Luke Callahan, I don't know if you know this, he lives like 20 minutes away from me. The town of Norwell is like, after I get off here and like I do some, you know, editing or whatever, it's like 20 minutes away. So
oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I mean, if you had any, I just personally never felt that there was any need to even inquire. I spoke with the sheriff who was handling this, and I did mention his name. Like I just called him on the phone, and he told me that they were aware of him and the whole case. But in terms of like, I don't know where the guy lives. I wouldn't take it upon myself. But if you or the fans or if anybody else, if they want anything, I mean, I'm just saying, I live close to the guy. I don't know. You know, what that would mean. But, yeah, he lives about 20, Norwell is a town about 20 minutes from here.
I think that would be really worth looking into. Yeah. Like, I feel like you could really be a tool, not a tool, but you know what I mean, a component in kind of tracking him down. But I would be careful about it because then people like might say you're stalking him or something.
Yeah, you have to be really careful. That's why I spoke with the sheriff, because I just said, you know, I'm a journalist, or I don't even consider myself that, but I'm just, you know, a YouTuber. I have like a public profile. I've been following the case, and I was just curious about this individual and if you can share any updates. And they said that they are actively looking into certain things regarding, because I supplied Katelyn's information, and I think that's what gave them the leeway to feel comfortable to say, you know, yeah, we are looking at this. They said they've received information, but like I said in my other streams, I don't think anything is going to come of it. And again, maybe other people since who have been following him, I don't know of why, or on social media, they know of anything or have specific things if they want me to ask, or, you know, send it to me, guys. And because that's how I find out about most of the stuff anyway. If the family hasn't been in touch with me, that's how I hear about what's going on.
Yeah, and Jamie is very diligent, so if you go to her with information, she's not as flaky as I tend to be, because like I really do think I'm like, I see this meme that says like I messaged you back in my head, but I really didn't. People pass it around and they laugh about it, but like when you really are like that in real life, it is like almost like a disability. And like, but Jamie's not like that, so
no, I'm very OCD, and I'm very thorough, and I'm very self-disciplined. I'm kind of like a monster. If I have a goal or there's something I want to do, I will, you know, I'll get it. But because
Tony's gonna call you.
Oh God, no.
You just gave him a crazy ammo to put in his crazy gun.
You know what? It gives him something to talk about. As long as I think between the two of us, I don't think he's capable of doing anything. My husband personally said, you know, my husband.
Oh, don't say that.
No. Oh God. Okay, guys. We're not even going to mention this individual's name anymore. We're not going to put anything out there. I think that's pretty much it for now. I think we should definitely like schedule another one whenever we're both free. Is there anything else you wanted to ask me?
Me?
Yeah. Is there anything you're just like burning to know, or that you always wanted to know, or have clarified, or anything?
I am curious if you would ever be open to like not liking her, but like dating Joy.
Dating
like,
her?
Just be
debating.
No. No. Like just being open to not hating her.
Okay.
Hating.
This is the thing that I don't think you get. I don't hate her. Because I have to respect somebody in order to hate them.
So you don't respect... Oh, okay. Well, then to respecting her. Like, would you ever be open to respecting her?
No.
Why?
Because I have... Which, I don't even know if you knew about this. I offered to talk with her one-on-one when everything all began, and it was just blindsided. She immediately went to, you know, accusing me and basically slandering me, picking apart my personal life. So that just like went over her head, and I said, you know, let's talk. I even tried to contact her on multiple platforms, and I never heard back from her. Instead, she went and she talked to that like Rob Novak guy that who has still continued to talk about me and slander me and make up all these, things about me and obsess over me even when I said, just stop. I get it. You don't like me. But, no, I don't think so because of certain things I've been through, Celeste, and this is my opinion on it. Certain things I've been through, I have a really good judge of character. And I don't believe she's a good person. I don't believe she is somebody who anybody should respect. No, I don't see it. I'd talk to her. I don't think she's brave enough to actually speak with me though, because she would have done it before. She was waiting to get more money and more attention because that's what she's after. But when she immediately ignored talking to me one-on-one, but talked to other YouTubers and then slandered me and all this other stuff, I understood her motives. It was clear. She's not interested in the truth and actually understanding about people. She's interested in money and just furthering herself, in my opinion. And I don't respect people like that. They're like bottom feeders.
I don't know. I guess
I can't hate somebody I don't respect, to answer your question.
she put you through hell even when she knew you were right. Who are you talking about, Camille? Are you talking about Joy? I think that's who she's talking about. Well,
people wanted to have Joy on with. Oh yeah, no. I offered to speak with her, but she was too chicken. This was even when she was small. She was little, but she didn't want to, and that's because she's only interested in money. She's only interested in eking money from story. In my opinion, and from what I know of Celeste, I get that she can. No, I'm not even going to say that. Say
it.
No, I was going to say your character. Well, sure. You're the kind of a person that you are. It doesn't fit unless you're approaching her as literally just like a guilty pleasure to watch like a like train wreck, like just drama for drama's sake, which I totally get. She's not the same type of person though as you and I.
I really do think that. I do think that there's a monetary agenda, but I feel that way with anybody who constantly. Like, I got on here to talk with you about the You Now thing. I don't know how to do money off this or anything. I don't know what the bars mean. I don't know any of the lingo.
No.
But I feel like anybody who has a Patreon, I get disappointed.
Sure.
Because I feel like, there you go. I
don't have one.
Right. And exactly. And I feel like it's, so in that sense, I kind of am like, come on, Joy. But in every other way, I feel like she's just really impulsive and doesn't really like. I do think she's an opportunist. I will admit that. Sure. But I feel like all of us can be to a degree. Yeah. But I don't think she's evil though. Like I feel like if there was the chance for her to help one of us, I don't think she would like laugh in our face. I don't know. There's like this mob mentality against her. And like Kimmy Cat, I don't know if you've ever watched her stuff, but I haven't.
She sent me like a threat in an email this morning.
Me too. Oh, well, not this morning.
I got it this morning. It was an email. It was basically something along, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was my husband. I told my husband about it. I read it just when I was waking up. It was something along the lines of like, Jamie, you have agreed to talk live or broadcast everybody except for me now. And either it's because you believe what people have said about me, or I don't know who this person is though. And apparently they've made videos about. I don't know who they are. I swear on everything.
Okay, I think she has some paranoia, and a lot of it could be stemmed from growing up. Because she does. I don't know how long she's been in a wheelchair, and I feel bad for not knowing it because I know she's mentioned it before.
Oh, okay.
I like her personality because I feel like she's very intelligent, and I feel like she values intelligence. But and she's always hated Joy, which I don't judge people on who they like or don't like. I mean, whatever. But like,
no. Yeah, I don't care.
The second that so my in-laws came in town a couple weeks ago, and like they came all the way from Mississippi to Minnesota, so I wasn't gonna be online. I wasn't online, and like I was checking my email. I had to go in the ER twice because of my heart. They had to shock it back into rhythm. It's serious stuff. And I'm reading these emails, and it says. I asked her, you know how you wanted to connect with me on here so we could do live chat? She wanted to talk about Joy to me. So that's how you do it. You send an invite. Right. And then she says, are you trying to gather info on me? Your clan is saying they know where I live. And first of all, she says clan. That's silly because I don't talk to Joy fans. So I don't even know Like, that doesn't even make sense. Then she's like,
Yeah.
I thought you were decent, but oh well, anyone who comes to my home will be greeted with a shotgun. And I said, Clan? What info did I ask you for? I emailed because you said you wanted to do a live stream. And then she's like, well, you invited me to do a live stream, and after that, Clorox, whoever that person is, said they know where I live. So then I get, so let's see, July 6th, July 6th, July 9th, and then July 10th. So the most recent one was 6 days ago, and she said, congratulate Joy for me. She's known as the bully bitch of YouTube. You invited a lunatic to live with you. You're a real prize of a mother. Protect your kids. Don't invite strangers to live with you. Pathetic kiss ass.
Who said that?
Why would,
is that her?
Kitty Cat. I've been nothing.
Wait. Let me read you the email I got this morning, just for all like fairness, because I got one this morning too, and I have no idea who this person is. It's from a person named Kimmy Cat. At 3:58 this morning, it says, curious, is there a reason you are willing to stream with everyone regarding Joy, but have ignored all my requests, even when I was under heavy attack? I begged you numerous times in your comment sections. I'm done with that subject now, as it was not worth the hate. Obviously, you're not. But I was a supporter of yours, and you streaming with everyone while blatantly ignoring me makes me think either someone shit-talked me to you, or you have a different agenda. Oh well, just curious because I think it was pretty crappy. So to Kimmy Cat, I have no idea who you are. So it's really difficult for me to address your myriad of requests for the attention. I don't know who you are.
She always says that, like, she's in a wheelchair, she's disabled, and, like, people are making fun of her because of that. But, you know, when I was getting all those psycho, mean, evil, bullying messages from Kimmy Cat, I was in the ER twice for nearly dying. You know, being in a wheelchair, a lot of people have health conditions that are life-threatening without being in a wheelchair. Like, you can be disabled without it showing. Like, I hate that whole idea.
What's going on with all of these people? Like, what's this, like, trend of, like, look at me in my vulnerable state, give me attention for that? What's going on here with, like, this makes no sense. First of all, Kimmy Cat, what you sent to Celeste is not only disgusting, you don't know her, you have never met her, I don't know who you think you are by making those sort of threats, and I don't know who you are either. You have obviously tried to attempt to contact me. I'm sorry if I have not given you the response when you desired it, but I do not respond to demands. So perhaps if you demanded something from me and you didn't get my attention, it's because I do not respond to strangers demanding things of me. You're probably going to do a lot better if you approach me with kindness and respect. So the only reason I can assume, and I don't want to speak for Celeste, but the fact that you would even, she mentioned your kids, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I told Joy at one time if she was homeless, because she indicated she had to live with a roommate, and she sent me all of her criminal background information. I have all the messages from Joy. Like, I verified all that, but I wasn't just some goofball who was like, come live in my house. Yeah. And I did it to be nice. Like, and she was trying to, like,
that's just people that are,
mothering.
These people think that they know you and I just from watching certain things. And unfortunately, like I think Celeste and I have said in this, and Celeste chooses not to use her real name. I haven't addressed you by your name once here because I respect certain things, you know.
Celeste is actually my middle name, and Rachel's actually my first name. Yeah. And Davy White was the stage name that I had when I used to sing when I was little. So that's where that came from.
There's something there. I'm still telling you, and you can ask anybody. Ask my husband. I am brutally honest with people. I think you have something. I watched those videos. I was literally expecting you just to be like a horrible, you know, like you're doing karaoke with your little microphone. And I was like, okay, she's actually good. What's going on? Like, I'm not saying this to. I'm saying this because I'm bluntly honest. I said either you're doing this because you're fishing for compliments. And you're super insecure, which I assess that may be because I
definitely like compliments. Like, I mean,
but girl, if you were bad, I would have said nothing. I would have just been, you know, okay, that's silly. You are so talented though, so please do not just like become a YouTuber. Or being a mom is amazing. You know, that's not everybody can become a mom, no matter what you say. But you are so talented. There's something indie. I'm trying to think of. I don't like to compare people, but you have to know that you're good.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. It means a lot. I get bashful when you talk about it on here because I feel like a lot of the people watching are
screw them. Who cares? Don't worry about what they have to say. Just listen to me, and I'm giving you well-deserved, because I don't feel like you hear it
Oh, look,
ever.
Lady Bot is here.
Or- She's in
Hi,
our
Lady.
chat? Oh,
Yeah.
hi.
So,
No,
Lainey,
but,
this is not a fidget spinner. This is kind of like a fidget spinner, but this is like it's the same concept. It's a ball that you roll. And
I brought mine. That's not fair. You guys all have your fidget spinners. I don't have anything. I do have a fidget spinner too, but I don't have it. But no, I'm really serious. And guys, so is it okay if I address you by Rachel now?
yeah, you can call me that.
So if you guys notice, I never once called her by. I'm probably still gonna say Celeste just because that's what you go by online. But you know, I know that Celeste has a life off of here, so there was no way I was gonna say anything. So to Kimmy Cat or whoever's making these threats, just stop all this drama and everything else that's going on. Just enough.
I don't know how my kids have not come down yet. Like, they're with their dad up there, and
They're listening. Well, hi, Lainey. If you guys don't know, Lainey is Onision's spouse. So hi, thank you for being here. I don't know.
I don't know how she feels about us.
Yeah. Hopefully
know.
it's nothing bad. Hopefully it's nothing bad. But if so, you know, we can talk. I've been very supportive of her husband, and I was actually, before she even came in here, I feel really bad with what's happening with the channel. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I don't know if it's I spoke with somebody else when we were talking about Onision's videos and like the decline with viewership, and they did say that there's this new people that they have hired at YouTube who are hired to kind of take all the people that have they have acquired an audience on their own. They feel that they've had a significant amount of success, and they kind of just put them on the back burner. They don't promote them anymore. The the videos don't come up. The only time the videos appear is for subscribers, which wouldn't make sense if you have a lot, but I think they feel that there's just too many people on YouTube right now that are making money or have had really great success, and they want to give other people a chance. But I guess
it's part of the algorithm for sure.
Yeah. I mean, people like, you know, Greg's case, Onision, you know, it's, people are, I guess they're jumping ship and they're going to Patreon. I don't have one. I don't even know how it works. It would have to take me, you know, again, I do bad mixing like money with being creative. I fall apart. So
yeah,
maybe.
Well,
I don't know though. We'll have to see.
I saw a video where Jacqueline Glenn was saying that Greg really messed up, where he relied solely on his YouTube income, you know, for income. And but you kind of have to put yourself in his position when he was making so much, presumably. Okay, this is what any outsider would think. I'm not jumping the gun, and so I don't really think it's that far fetched that he would rely on that. I mean, that was a lot of money. And then all of a sudden, everything just, that's what it appears like. So for him to get a Patreon, I don't think it's that weird for him to have a Patreon. But for, like, every small or mediocre YouTuber, I do feel like it is a little, it's off-putting. Because it shows me that that's the only real reason that they even upload videos.
Yeah. No, I don't envy, I mean, the situation that he's in right now, I think. Lainey, I would love to talk to Greg about that, but, and we can talk about Joy and how she's an awful human being together. We have that in common. We were just talking about that. She's awful though, and I did it. Oh God, she's gross.
I like
a gross
Joy.
Human being. Do you really?
Like
how
Joy,
though, Liz? How?
I feel like she needs to learn moderation, and she needs to stop being an opportunist. But I feel like her heart is not. I don't feel like she should have yelled at Lainey's little sister, because her little sister's a minor, I think. But there are a lot of things I don't agree with that Joy does. But I feel like her heart is in the right place. I don't think she's evil. I can see where the annoyance and the cringing and all that. But see, I'm not Lainey and Greg. I'm not targets of hers. You know, it's easy for me to say that. I'm not a target of hers. And I defend her because I've been accused of so many of the crazy things that she's been accused of before. Like, so it just felt like a moral obligation to defend her.
Yeah, you're much more forgiving than I am in terms of that.
She doesn't respond to me either. Like she responded to me the first time she saw my video or whatever, or not responded because I never sent her anything. She came to me and thanked me, and but ever since then I haven't. I did say if you ever want to do a live thing with me or something, I have a lot that I want to talk about when it comes to the Daddy 05. If you'd like to have me on, that's fine. I threw that out there, and but knowing me, I might not have done it anyway because of my anxiety. But she never acknowledged that, so I'm not butthurt about it. I just kind of feel like maybe it's because I'm not somebody noteworthy. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, again, it's I watched the Onision chat with her, and it was probably the most vile thing I've ever seen. It was gross. It was gross, and just to see her, and I've spoken out about how I actually feel that Onision has talent. He's acting.
Well, it's undeniable that he has talent.
Right. This Joy woman is from day one has been a leech. She has acquired no talent. She has just gone after other people who are already established, who have worked for hours on end, and has found some way to, swerve her little self in there, create some sort of narrative, attack them. And that I don't even care if it's not I'll even go against Greg when it comes to this. I don't care if it's not in the book as being a stalker. That's a stalkish behavior. That's insane. You do not make that amount of videos from a stranger, even if you're a fan of someone. You just don't do that. You don't do that.
She saw how popular they were getting, and I think that was why.
No, exactly. Yeah. It's vile. She's this vile, like, swamp creature who...
Oh, Jamie, don't say that.
I'm sorry, like Celeste, we will disagree on that. I don't see the good in her. I don't. I really don't. And I give people chances until there's no more reason to. If I think there's more negative than good. Again, okay, I've never met her in real life. However, you can judge a lot based upon people and the kind of company that they keep, the kind of people that have engaged or have swarmed around her is incredibly telling. The fact that when she was very small and she outright slandered me, made up lies about me, went on other YouTubers' shows as this Rob Novak guy, whatever it is, and he slandered me, said I was lying about events and tragedies that I've been through in my life, never having spoken to me one-on-one. Why would you even associate with people like that? The first thing somebody told me
that was in response to your video, because you did a video against her first, remember?
The video where I was standing there and not saying a word. The video where I was just making silly faces.
Yeah, but the title of it was that she's scamming people.
That's fair. That's fair. The reason I called it that was because that was when all those people had come to me and said, this is what happened. So I used that.
I mean, I feel like that's why...
That's a fair point. That's a fair point then. See? I can own up to things. That's a fair point. Absolutely. But I don't think that... Again, it's this sort of like... stay away from my swamp, somebody said. It's this sort of like back and forth of people just doing bad. There's no, like, you and I disagree on things, but we're able to have like a respectful discussion because there's no real motive here. The only motive we have is to just talk like an adult on certain topics and hopefully come out of this learning more about each other. When Joy guest sparkled, this is how long I've been doing this all day today. When Joy spoke with Greg, she had $signs and attention in the back of her mind. The minute she got on camera, you could see her eyes light up that she's like, this is what I have worked so hard to achieve, and here I am. Let me bask in this moment. She was so excited. She was getting her rocks off. He was playing along with it. Again, I'll say it, I wish he went harder on her. I don't know how he even agreed to do that, but whatever he was thinking and doing that, the minute I saw her like start to rock back and forth, contort her face into all these weird shapes, stuff her face with this popcorn, it was just so gross. The behavior was gross.
I think they were both kind of immature in the debate, but yeah. I mean, I can see both of their perspectives. Like, I can see, because for her, yeah, I feel like it was a little transparent that she was excited and she was basking in the moment and all this, but I feel like...
Yeah, she was.
I feel like any of us would feel a little excited to get to talk to Greg because he is such a notable person. Like right now, if Greg were to say like that he would enter this chat, I think we would be being disingenuous to say that we wouldn't be like, wow, okay, hi Greg. Like even if you hate him, it's like You know, it'd be like talking to OJ Simpson, like getting to interview him. He's a horrible person, but it would be like, wow, this is a moment to just somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, but we wouldn't act that way, the way that she did. And that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. There was something verifiably creepy. There was something verifiably creepy about her. And anybody that has that amount of free time, you know.
Well, I think that's because she admits that she stays in her pajamas all the time and that she doesn't leave the house. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure exactly. I think she said it's because of her fibro.
Okay.
Which my husband believes that a lot of, because he says that all the research he's done is basically exercise and change your diet. I'm not very familiar with fibro.
But you know what? I'm not interested in her health or her personal life. I'm interested in what she puts out there to the public and who she goes after. And if you go after people and you put yourself on a public platform, surprisingly, people are gonna come at you. And that's what I did. And but never say never. But I don't think she would ever. I don't think she'd be strong enough to talk to me. I don't think I could withstand a second. No, I don't think so.
I'm just trying to picture you talking to her. Like how it would go.
No, because you know what I would do is I would just stare and I would just have so many questions. I would just like observe. Like, sometimes when you go to like because I used to live in Disney World. So I had annual passes where I could go to the parks whenever I wanted. So you could go to Animal Kingdom and you would see like the monkeys and you would see every now and then you would see a creature that was just so bizarre or so repulsive. There was this monkey that I saw one time when I went to the Animal Kingdom that would literally have his hand, he'd be picking his nose all the time. I have gone there so many times. I saw the same monkey picking the same nostril for 10 years that I lived there. And every time I would go there, nobody would ever want to look at him because he was like the nose picking monkey. And people would just stare at him and I guess either like wait for him to explain to us why he's been picking the same, his nose for like the last 10 years. And people would just stare. And they just said, I have so many questions. Like, I don't even think like I could even engage in a conversation with her. I would probably just wait until she erupted. And went on one of her, like, kind of spasms, and I would observe, like, I was watching that monkey picking his nose. And I was,
my God.
I would just say, I don't even know what to do with this. Like, I have so many questions. It would be interesting. There wouldn't be any screaming. Because I wouldn't say anything. I would just study her.
That would be a really interesting interview, because I wonder how she would react to somebody not responding. I mean, really, because she's so talkative. Like, normally, because even when Greg would bark back at her, she could still respond to the bark.
Well, but, sure, and that's why I told Onision I sent him messages saying like, I would have even gone, or I would have shut up and just let her do whatever is going on here, and I just would have sat back and just stared. The fact that she was just laughing and then could immediately like pull a Buster Keaton and and she's shoving this popcorn in her. I would stare. So if you guys want to see that, then talk to Joy.
I think that would be amusing, actually.
Talk to Joy, and I promise you there will probably be a lot of talking on her end, a lot of facial expressions.
Why did Big Me? He said, "Are you a trap?" What does he mean? Is that like slang for something? What does that mean?
He's probably asking me if I'm a tranny. Am I a tranny? Because I get that because I wear my wigs and my makeup sometimes. No, I'm not a tranny. I'm a woman. Who are we talking to? I'm too classy for her. Thank you. I like to think that. Yeah, if I engaged with her, I wouldn't even engage. I would just watch. There's a
little boy who watches her stuff and likes her. Cooligan. And while I think it's really adorable, I think it's great that he cares about people at such a young age. I don't know. I feel like the cursing and all that in her videos, I'd be kind of like, if my son was like, because he knows who Joy is just because he's heard me talk about her, but like he's never actually watched her videos because like the F word is like an adverb,
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't really. It's in the end, it's just words. But I don't want my 9-year-old to.
Oh God, your 9-year-old knows who she is.
Well, because I've talked about her maybe to Tim or something and been like, oh my God, Onision, like, is going to debate Joy. And so, like, my son has heard me, like, mention her,
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean he's around me a lot, so.
I assure you, if we ever had some sort of an online anything, it would be like a Marina Abramovich. She does a performance art where she'll just like stare at like a piece of cheese for an hour, and then she'll start to like, cry or scream. That's how I would approach it, because I don't know how to engage with people like that. I'm very, like I said, I don't enjoy people that much, so I'm a very solitary person. I love being alone if I'm not with my husband.
Because people can turn on you like that. That's why it gets like by the time you're our age, it's like, do you even want to risk it? I mean, like, that's how I feel anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I meet moms at the park, and they're like, oh my god, we have to hang out. And then I part of me wants to, but then another part of me is like,
don't.
I don't know.
No. I always tell my husband all the time, because like I don't really have friends. I have people that he works with that I see a lot at work. I have you guys who are fans or viewers who I enjoy connecting with. But other than that, I don't want friends. I'm happy. I'm content. I like my own company, and I just don't really have time for trivial things. So I would rather just like stay to myself and keep to myself than have to
and
engage.
small talk.
Yeah, I just don't engage.
I just don't do that.
No. So if Joy wants me to stare at her, then I'm open.
I think that would actually.
That's all she would get from me, though, because she's such a there's nothing there that's of any sort of like quality, So I don't know, but anyway, we kept this going for a while, so I think it's you want to wrap it up?
Hey, I have no friends. It looks like everybody agrees with us on the friend thing, which is awesome. And
yeah, we haven't been checking I think that we should do this again. I think that you guys should what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to like I'll make sure that everything, if not tonight, then first thing tomorrow morning I'll send it out, the good quality of this on my channel, and Celeste can take it too and put it on her channel. I can send you the whole thing, and if you guys have any other questions and we want to do this again, then let us know in the comments on the video. But other than that, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much.
It was a delight to meet you, Jamie. Like, it's actually, I feel like ever since you and I have first spoken directly, I feel like you've maintained a very solid and real. And this was before she flattered me, you guys. Okay, this is the first time she's flattered me.
No, but that's the truth, though. I would tell you if you were bad.
And that is the truth. She would. She's a Cancer, by the way.
I am.
She's a water sign like me, and we're the most sensitive.
Trust me, I would tell you if there was nothing there. No.
So, but if you have questions about, like I said, the Katelyn, Nicole Davis stuff, like, she lives by Luke. Like she said, I feel like she's a very, very valuable, like, potentially valuable, like, component in getting things figured out with him. Like, so go to her.
Yeah. And Celeste as well, guys. So I think by the end of this, you see that there's no rivalry. In fact, I'm so grateful to Celeste because she has kept this out there, and there needs to be no separation. Stop it with separating and trying to make fake drama out of there's nothing there. Let's like get over all of this silliness. Let's come together, and hopefully, if not in this case, then other cases and people that we talk about, something good will come out of it, and maybe, something good came out of this. And I thank you just for taking your time away from being a mommy and being a wife. And it was so nice to finally talk to you, and we'll do it again, and then just let me know whenever you want to, and we will do that.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Jamie.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.